The Wet Spot Tropical Fish is not your average pet store, and I found more types of discus than I usually find tetras. I was just so impressed by the variety of fish they have and the massive number of tanks they have. And I think one of the big problems is it's not that no one wants to build an amazing fish store like they have at the Wet Spot, but there aren't enough hobbyists to justify keeping some of the types of fish that they have in more fish stores. There are only so many people that are going to buy a Fajaka puffer. So them having a tank of 6+ Fajaka puffers probably supplies all the demand for the greater Portland area. But I still thought it was really amazing to check out the great variety this store has that you can't really find anywhere else. And some things I thought were really cool included the varieties of rams they had. They not only had German blue rams, but they had black rams, they had gold rams, they had balloon gold rams, they had balloon black rams. And it's just that kind of variety that you don't normally see, and it was really cool to observe at one of the coolest fish stores that I've ever been to. I've been communicating with the Wet Spot for a while. I actually commented on one of their Instagram posts because they post really amazing photos of the fish that they keep in their shipping facility. And I just wanted to get a better idea how to take good thumbnail photos, because it is really challenging to get a clear still photo of a moving fish in a dimly lit aquarium. And they basically said they use an extremely high wattage film light, and they also mentioned that they'd seen my YouTube and they really liked the videos. So that was really nice to hear, because they're obviously a really established and successful business. So to hear someone like that tell me I'm doing a good job felt really good, and sort of inspired me to make this video at their store. I also found one species of fish in the store that I couldn't identify, but it was really friendly. It kind of looked like what I know as a Cupid cichlid, but it seemed to have a little too much orange for that to be what it was. If anyone knows what fish this is, please comment down below. They were extremely friendly and kept coming right up to the glass in front of me, probably looking for food, but they seemed much more inquisitive than your average cichlid. I'm not a huge plant person, so I didn't spend a lot of time focusing on their plants, but they did have a significant number of tanks that were dedicated to just plants. They had more varieties than I could ever identify, which is why I didn't dedicate too much time to looking at them. But I think anyone who's looking for good additions to their planted tank would be able to find what they're looking for at the Wet Spot. One of the coolest things that I saw there was a big group of Amazon puffers that were the smallest ones I've ever seen in front of my own eyes. I almost thought they were pea puffers when I first looked at them, but they were just super tiny Amazon puffers, which I thought was really cool, because I always feel that if you buy fish at a smaller size and grow them up, they do better health-wise than if you buy them when they're already fully grown. So I was really disappointed that I don't live closer to the store, because I really want to get some Amazon puffers, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to order some from them and get them in a similar size, because I just thought it was so cool to see Amazon puffers this small, because normally I would see them 3 to 4 times the size they had them in, and they all seem to be really healthy. It was really hard to get them on video because they stayed in the darkest corners of the tank, but I did get some footage of some adult Amazon puffers that they also had in a display tank. I'd love to hear from you guys about things that you love about your local fish stores. I have a decent number of nice fish stores near me. I would say though they all kind of fall into that category I was mentioning before, where there isn't enough demand for them to really bring in unique fish that you don't see that often. And I think the market share is kind of evenly spaced between enough stores that no one store is able to become as aggressive with their stocking as something like the Wet Spot is. And I think that also comes from the fact that the Wet Spot ships online, so they don't necessarily have to do extremely well in their retail store, and maybe they can also just use it more for advertising, where a lot of these other stores, they gotta really pinch their pennies and try to figure out what fish are gonna make them the most money, and most of the time that's the fish that are the most common, and they're common for a reason. Every discus that I filmed in this store tour was $100 each, aside from a few smaller ones that I think were $60 each. And $100 isn't a crazy amount of money, but when you have the option of buying a group of fish for 40 bucks or one fish for 100, it's pretty obvious the decision that most people who have to watch their checkbook are going to choose. Recently, I've become a lot more dependent on online sellers to get my fish, mainly because I really want to make sure I'm getting high quality, and there seems to be a little more attention to detail on that from online sellers. It's also just, in some cases, cheaper and easier. You never have to leave your house. During COVID, it was extremely convenient to order fish that way rather than having to put on a mask, check if the store's even open due to guidelines and things like that. And I've found it especially useful for ordering rare fish like guppies of a specific strain, or I have these cold water corridoras that I'm thinking of ordering, which I've never seen in person, but I know are available online. And like I mentioned before, things like the Amazon puffers, they're just things that for the most part you're not going to see in your average local store, but if you go online, it'll take you 5 minutes and you'll be able to find someone that will ship them to you. So I've never personally ordered from the Wet Spot, but I've had a very enjoyable experience interacting with them online, and from their social media posts, it's very clear that they have a lot of very good fish. They had a lot of very good fish when I went to visit in person, and I'm planning on ordering from them in the future, and I would highly recommend that you do the same. If anyone's had any experiences ordering with them in the past, feel free to leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what your experience was. If you're interested in more fish room content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm releasing my next fish room tour very soon, and ramping up the amount of videos about the day-to-day life, maintaining my fish room and breeding the fish. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.